You're listening to the Kent Top 40 with Alex and Numi, and we're joined by Sophie Ellis-Bextor. Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Good, thank you.
So, 22 years since Murder on the Dance Floor was originally released, and now it's back in the Kent Top 40 and charts around the world. How does it feel?
Well, I've used the word bonkers a lot recently. There's definitely an element of that. It's like magical. It's fun. I think it's pretty unique. I mean, what a ride. You know, Murder's been a friend of mine for such a long time. And now to have it back, but also having a slight reinvention thanks to Saltburn is really fun.
Yeah, it's an iconic scene when it appears in Saltburn as well. When did you first know that it was going to be in the film?
Quite a while ago. I was asked for approval, but you only get a very small amount of information then. Yeah. So I knew some key elements, like the lack of clothes.
Because I guess it's like, are you okay with your song being associated with full frontal nudity?
Yes, a little bit of that, yeah. But I could also see that it was in a film that was written and directed by Emerald Fennell. So I was like, oh, it's in safe hands.
Cool.
Because I'd seen Promising Young Woman. So I was like, I think I can trust her.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad I had that instinct because I thought the movie's brilliant. And I love how she's used music throughout, actually. So yeah, what a nice thing to be part of.
Did you get to watch the scene in isolation or the film before it came out, or was your first experience of it in a cinema?
I got to see it before it came out, but not that long before it came out, and it was the whole film. So we went to a screening.
Amazing.
And I took along my family. So I was with my mum and my eldest boy and my husband and my brother. We all trotted along to watch it, but we all loved it. Yeah, I mean, it's obviously quite challenging in parts, but we did all love it.
Yeah, it must have been an interesting, you know, because a lot of people watched Saltburn over Christmas with their family. And there was this huge, like, Twitter shared moment of people going, probably shouldn't have put this on with my gran in the room. Was there a bit like that with your mum and your son there with you?
I wasn't too worried about my mum. I did feel a bit for my son, but actually, you know what? He was fine. I think it was mainly me because I was sort of projecting worry onto him. So I do remember having my head in my hands a couple of times thinking, oh dear. But he loved it. So we did kind of get out the other side. And actually, I don't think I did need to worry. He was quite unfazed, actually. He's 19 and he held it together well. He seemed all right.
Yeah, he's a fully fledged adult now.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah. Exactly.
Good stuff. I mean, it's an iconic moment when it comes up in the film, and it's a song as well that still feels so timeless. I think it came out when I was 3 years old, but it's one that I've got so many memories of throughout my life. And it's one of those things that when you release something as an artist, you kind of let go of it and put it out into the world, and people, to an extent, just do what they want with it. Have you had any surprises through your life of where it has come up and where it's been used?
Yeah, I think that's very well put about letting it go. And you're right. You sort of give it over to a sort of communal space, really. And then actually part of your relationship with the song evolves because of how people reflect it back to you. So every time someone's told me it's, you know, the song that was their song from uni or from a holiday they went on or a dance at their wedding or whatever it might be, that all becomes part of its story. And I really love that feeling, actually. So it's just quite remarkable that it's still showing me new things after all this time. I think that's the bit that's really crazy. And obviously you've had the film, but also new people hearing the song and, you know, people doing dance to it and all the stuff I've seen on TikTok. And you're just like, it kind of blows your mind a little bit, really. You're like, wow, this song has reached so many people. It's extraordinary. Yeah, what an amazing thing.
Speaking of the like TikTok virality of the song, has there been someone that you've seen dancing around to this song on TikTok that has just like blown your mind about how far this song has gone?
Actually, I think my favourite example of that was recently I saw that Gwen Stefani used this song to show her gardening.
Oh, amazing.
Because I'm used to people dancing to it, but I don't think it's been used very much for gardening. So that was quite nice.
It's going to have whole new legs now. People will be like, look at my rhododendron bush. It's so fabulous.
That's literally the sort of thing she was doing.
That is incredible.
Yeah, I like that.
KMFM.
The chart show for Kent.
The Kent Top 40.
KMFM.
There are so many iconic naughty songs in the film as well, like Perfect by Mason versus Princess Superstar.
Yes.
And it's one of those things that we've seen over the past while that in recent years, because of TikTok, lots of songs have made amazing comebacks through films as well and charted again for the first time. Have you got any other songs from the noughties that you'd love to see make a comeback?
Oh, well, I think a lot of it is happening. You know, seeing Girls Aloud going on tour, the Sugar Babes. There's so much stuff like that. You know, people have got like, you know, renewed appreciation for the quality of the songs and how good they are. And like the people should be like, these are just a bop. They're brilliant. And I suppose it's what's happened. Like for me, when I was growing up, we got the benefit of that kind of like the way that time gets sifted. So you don't have like all the songs. You just kind of got like what's kind of remained, you know, like cherry picked. So, you know, when I grew up in the sort of 80s and 90s, I was hearing songs from like the 60s and 70s where you don't get the whole decade. You just get bits and bobs where like, this is a good song, this is a good song. So I guess that's what's happening for the noughties now, which is quite crazy to think of like as a mirror. But there's loads of good tunes. I think there's definitely more to plunder. I heard the Freemasons remix of Uninvited, the Alanis Morissette song that they've done with Bailey Zook. I hadn't heard that for ages. It came out in like 2007. It sounded amazing. It sounded so good. So it's a lovely feeling actually, because you go like, and you get all the feels all over again.
Yeah, 100%. Are there any noughties trends as well that you want to see make a comeback fashion-wise or anything like that too?
Oh, I don't know, because I don't know if I've ever been very good at like knowing what that's about anyway. I mean, a lot of the stuff I wore then is the same stuff I'm into now. So when I started my solo career at the beginning of the noughties, and I wasn't really very good at fashion, but I knew that I liked like a 60s silhouette and that kind of thing. And I'm still kind of into that. So I think I'm probably the wrong person to ask, really. I don't know if trends has ever really been my thing.
To be fair, I think there's a lot of stuff from the noughties that should probably just
stay there.
Like footless tights do not need to come back.
Oh my goodness, footless tights. I completely forgot about that. What about a shrug? Was a shrug then, or was that 90s? Shrugs were a funny little thing as well.
Yeah.
Remember them? They're just sleeves of a top.
Yes.
The whole thing.
Yes, like a bolero jacket. Yeah.
But smaller, if that's possible.
And then like a long...
Things like that, but footless tights, you're right. God,
long vest top, little waist belt, ballet pumps.
Yeah.
It was a time. Obviously the song is, you know, soundtracks, the climax of the film is such an iconic moment of Saltburn. Have you ever done a similar kind of victory dance around your house? And what was the occasion and what was the song?
Well, I'm not really a kind of naked dancer, if that's the subtext of the question.
No, clothing could have been just the joy.
The joy. The joy. Oh my word, so many songs. I mean, recently my husband Rich and I have got back into Born Slippy. That's been one we've been playing a bit recently.
Amazing.
That still sounds amazing. There's a song by Thelma Houston from the 70s, her version of Don't Leave Me This Way, that is forever glorious to me. There's like loads of songs I think that can give you that like euphoria, that kind of freedom and that hedonism. It's really important actually to have that space, I think, because it's like a bit of a reset, especially if you've been feeling stressed or there's a lot going on. It just lets you kind of like shimmy all the tension away, which is a good thing, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like sometimes we should just almost, like, for medical reasons, give ourselves 5-minute dance party every day and just shake it out.
You'd feel great. You'd be like, I've got a spring back in my step. Yes, I think you're right.
And then anything else that happens, you drive into work and you're like, doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Had my dance party.
Yeah, there we go.
Because that's the magic of music. It can actually flip the script like that. I think it's incredible. Like, I love that it can be such a tonic in that way.
Well, talking of music and new music particularly, we've also heard that you're working on a new album. Are there any kind of things you can tell us about that? Any teasers, any news?
Well, quite sort of happily, and with a bit of serendipity, I think. I'd already decided I was going to make another dance, disco, pop album because I spent the last decade working with a singer-songwriter called Ed Harcourt. And we did 3 albums together and we decided we're only ever going to do 3. So we finished, the third one came out last year. It was an album called Hannah. And so now that I'm, not writing in such a lovely way with Ed, I was like, right, I'm going to go back to the other thing that always made me happy, which is writing with a lot of pop writers that I used to write with back in the day. So I was already back in the studio with a lot of familiar faces from that era. So it's quite funny, the parallels actually. So yeah, it's quite nice. It's given a nice momentum to what I'm up to.
That's really, really great to hear. Can't wait to hear it.
Thank you. Yeah, it's exciting. It's such a nice way to start the year as well.
Yeah. And I feel like a lot of people have come straight out the gates in 2024 with hitting us with the music, which makes me feel very excited for this year. So it's good to know a little bit of some Sophie Ellis-Bextor on the way as well. Thank you so much for talking to us and sharing the joy of Murder on the Dance Floor again. We're going to play your song now in the chart. Can you introduce it for us?
Oh, well, yeah, thank you so much for talking to me. And here is my old friend, but maybe new to you. I don't know. Murder on the Dance Floor.